And we're live. And we're live. We're here to discuss Batman versus Superman in honor of Justice League finally coming out after all these years of being delayed. Justice League is finally coming out. So we got to talk about the movie that came before. You know, we got to talk about that little movie. Yeah.
Did you see Andy Signore's you probably haven't watched his review yet.
I saw the one yesterday. Where he was talking about how he saw it. Yeah. For Justice League.
His actual review is hilarious. And I like Andy. I really do. It's not a problem with him, but it's like he's really trying to get around the fact that he kind of just likes the movie.
Yeah. And that's what a lot of the reviews for Justice League sound like. It's that a lot of people are like, it's better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, well, yeah, it's better. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of curious how much of it is Joss Whedon's though. Because
we'll know.
Well, not like how much of it is Joss Whedon's, but how much of it is like really a lot like it. Sorry, we're supposed to be talking about BVS.
It's live. It's live as fuck. It's yeah. I mean, yeah. We'll talk. I mean, I'm going to be talking more about Justice League probably later tonight and tomorrow. So we'll save it on that, or maybe at the end of the stream. But anyway, Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice. We have more crossover with this movie, I think, than Man of Steel. I mean, I personally really like Man of Steel and stuff, but Batman vs. Superman, I love Batman vs. Superman. I love the movie. I love the context of the movie. I love the, the themes of the movie and what's talked about in the movie. It's something that I've always wanted to see happen on a movie ever since, reading comic books and stuff. I always wanted these questions to be asked on screen, and this is the movie that gave it to us. What are your thoughts on the movie?
I just to sum up, basically, my feeling of the movie was I always liked it. I like the theatrical cut as well. I always thought all of the stuff that was filled out in the extended cut. I already assumed that from I didn't know how people found it hard to follow. Like the stuff where Lex Luthor gets those guys to burn the people in the desert or whatever it is in Africa. It's not the desert, but like in Africa, I already assumed that yes, they were framing Superman for somehow causing that. But I thought the political drama at the center of it was what was so interesting. Like everyone was talking about it was the Winter Soldier being this political thriller, and they were like, yeah, Marvel's going into all these different genres. And I'm like, no, they're not. That's the same fucking genre as all the rest of them. But this was actually a political thriller. They were actually trying to do something smart and place these superheroes in something like, that is very contemporary and speaks to something beyond that, something that transcends the actual superhero genre. But I did have a couple of problems, and I wanted to answer something too, because I think the last time I was on and I was speaking about Man of Steel, I didn't really explain why it mattered to me that Superman didn't feel like much of a character to me in that movie. And the reason that is because by the end of that film, because it was something I wanted to reply to one of you people who was asking me the question, that by the end of it, it meant that I didn't really care about the stakes or the impact of the fight, because I didn't, care about this Superman enough. I wasn't, such brought into the drama of the action. This one is the complete reverse of that, I think, in BVS. I think you have a very, very strong characters that make me very emotionally connected to, what's happening in terms of the fights, which are, again, like really, really good action set pieces. So the way I describe it, and we'll go into different parts after. We'll talk about like different sections maybe. But the way I'll describe it is that Man of Steel felt to me like, a boxing match that has no story. When you watch a boxing match and you don't care about the boxer, right? Like involved in it.
Yeah.
That's what that felt like to me. Whereas BVS felt like Rumble in the Jungle. It's like you're either for Ali or Frasier, right? And care about it. You know the story. There's the heroes and the villains, and you really care about it. My only problem with BVS is that the match lasted. It was as if it was Rumble in the Jungle, but the match lasted only 2 minutes, and
10 minutes. 10 minutes to be precise.
Oh, I know, but the match only lasted 2 minutes, and Frazier obviously threw the fight. That's my problem with it, right? So basically, everything apart from the actual Batman fighting Superman, and I don't like Superman that much in this film, but apart from that, everything else I think is pretty strong. I think there's some very underrated performances in it as well.
Yeah, you got a very specific idea of what you want to see with Superman, and I don't think they accomplished those with this film or these films, but that's not what I'm too preoccupied about because I feel like
you like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I feel like you're supposed to be coming into these movies with your already knowing everything about Superman and Batman. Like that's the preconceived notion of the movies, right? So I don't think Zack Snyder, he doesn't want to waste any time going back over all that stuff, right? You're just supposed to already believe it.
I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, he does have the Batman's origin again, which I didn't mind in the beginning of the film. I just think you get to know Bruce Wayne, Batman, a lot more. And even just that one scene, I know they say that Wonder Woman isn't in it very much, but in that one scene, I think she's very powerful. I think that it, like, immediately you warm to her, like it's the scene in the museum. Like immediately within 2 lines, she's established who she is, established what she's about. And she's still got an air of mystery to her, but in a good way, right? So let me just find out, what do you like about the movie? Let's talk about the things that really kind of.
I love a lot about the movie. I love all the themes about the movie, about perception and how people get turned against each other based off narratives created that aren't real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what the whole movie's about. That's Lex Luthor's whole driving plan, is that he's turning these heroes against each other based off false information and stuff. I mean, this stuff happens all the time. I really think it's a good mirror to the world we live in. I was, blown away by that when I saw it. I feel like a lot of people missed it when they watched the movie because they're too preoccupied with what they want to see out of the superheroes. But I'm like, what's this movie trying to say about our society that we live in? We live in a society, as you know. And it wasn't trying to say. And I think, it's making a lot of good points. I love Batman in the movie, obviously. Even though it's not my ideal version of Batman, I'm not like this guy who just loves the Frank Miller take on Batman. I mean, there's plenty of other takes on Batman. But I appreciate what Zack Snyder was trying to do. He's trying to give us a Batman that, is past his prime, at the end of his career. He's given up hope, which is something that you don't really see a lot with Batman. Say he's given up. And Superman is such an ideal version of Superman that he brings Batman back to being Batman in the movie. I like that a lot about Superman in the movie. Even though you might think they don't do everything right with Superman, I think that's what they do right with him, is that he is the one that saves Batman at the end of the day. And I really like that. A lot of people mock the Martha moment, but like that moment blew my mind because I was just like, I never put it together that Bruce Wayne's mom was Martha, and Clark Kent's mom had the same name. I never put that together. I've read a bunch of comics. I never put that together. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people are the same way.
I actually had I just thought, just in case, so that we can, in case our thoughts were a bit scattered, I could put a list together so that we could talk about each different thing. And I put Superman's purposefully last so that I could talk about more what I like about the film more. But one of the sections was Martha. So I put overall thoughts, Wonder Woman, Lex Luthor, Martha, the Martha thing, Lois, Batman, and then Superman, right? Well, we might as well start with the Martha situation, since we've talked about the Martha situation, right?
Yeah, I mean,
I will never understand why people don't get that Martha scene.
I know.
It bothers me endlessly that people who claim to be Batman fans, right? They actually claim to be Batman fans and they don't understand what's going on in that scene, and they claim, oh, it's just because his mother's name is the same, that's why the Batman's kind of changed his mind. That isn't what the scene is actually saying. The scene is about Batman being having post-traumatic stress disorder and being triggered by the name Martha, right? He's triggered. And then when he sees Lois and Clark together, looking in terror at this person who's about to kill, her loved one, right, or about to murder him, that he actually realizes in that moment he's gone so far down this dark road, he's become Joe Chill. The one thing that would stop him from, obviously killing Superman is realizing, holy shit, in this moment, I've become Joe Chill. I've become the killer of my parents. And that is what that scene was about. Do you agree? Or is that what you saw?
That's 100% what that scene is. It's 100% what it is. The people who don't get it, they just want him to say, like, save my mother or something like that. They don't want him to say Martha. They think that's too on the nose. And I just don't get that. Yeah,
I do agree with that, but that's not really the criticism I usually get. But I agree with that.
Honestly, yeah.
Is that what you hear? Yeah. I don't think people even understand it to that level of, they don't understand that he's having a PTSD.
Yeah.
Attack essentially, or like a flashback or something like that. It's like a Vietnam War vet or something who's being put in a situation where something has triggered him outside, and for a moment it stops him dead in his tracks.
Yeah, and it goes back to the beginning of the movie too, when Superman crashes down and kills that little girl's mother with the building coming down. Batman in that moment is having post-traumatic stress because by that time Robin's already dead. He's already hurting from a lot of different things, and then he's put back into the same position he was as a kid, where he's helpless to stop this child's parents from dying.
Exactly.
And Superman's the cause. And
it mirrors that. And I did think there was something really, really beautiful and poetic about the fact that I did know that both their moms' names was Martha. I'm a fucking geek. But I did know that both their mothers' names was Martha, and I just thought that was, beyond the post-traumatic stress kind of thing that was going on there, that beyond that, that's just a really beautiful way to tie up that situation and that conflict, to put it down to something like really comic booky and nerdy that you just, that you really wouldn't, that most people really wouldn't have realized or thought about, like, holy shit, yeah, Superman and Batman's name, Batman's mother have the same name. And, to highlight that in that moment, I thought was just really an interesting way. And it goes to something else I was going to say about this movie, which is, I just think this is an absolutely beautiful love letter to the Elseworld graphic novels, right? And even the way it's like, you edit a lot, so maybe you can tell me more about this. But I feel even the way it's edited is like it's edited to mimic almost the feeling of going through a sprawling graphic novel, right? Where in a DC graphic novel, there's loads of subplots and side plots and plots within plots, and then it all kind of comes together at the end. Do you think is that how you felt the editing was? Yeah,
that's how that's how I felt with the flashbacks and stuff like that. When you're seeing the pearls fall, like it's this classic like imagery that you always get in Batman books, where he's having some revelation and you see the pearls falling in a panel, and it goes back to Batman modern day. It's just like that in the movie. It's also like a classic film, editing technique to remind the audience of what the situation is. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a 3-hour movie. I bet some people probably forgot about the beginning part. You know, I bet some people did. But still, I mean, yeah, that definitely reminded me of like a graphic novel, how we see, the pearls fall and stuff from time to time. And we get reminded of Batman's past just in those little images, those little shots right there, you know?
And there was a really beautiful point in the movie as well where, again, it was something that everybody else hated, but I actually really loved, where Batman was being carried out of the well that he falls down by the bats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Do you remember that? Like,
I remember seeing that for the first time, and I thought, "What the hell's happening?" You know what I'm saying? But then you realize, oh, it's a dream. Oh yeah, okay. You know,
like it's kind of mythologizing Batman. You know, obviously, no, he's a human and he doesn't have superpowers, and you know, he's not connected to bats like this. But we also know that to us in our world, he's become this mythic character, this larger than life legend. And so to have that scene played in that way, in that hyper realism, was to me, again, very much like a graphic novel. And what you'll notice in that scene is when he drops down the well and lands, one of the pearls land as well.
Yep.
So I thought it was just, I didn't get why, you know, comic fans were like mocking this. I just was like, this is great, like a really visually inventive way of, you know, showing, you know, again, I would have liked something like that to have been done for Superman as well. That would have been nice, that you could have the contrast of them mythologizing Batman and then them mythologizing Superman in some way, like, you know, like going back to the roots of his comics, but they didn't do that. But so yeah, like, what were we talking about? The Martha incident.
Martha. Yes.
Yeah.
The heart of the movie, because that's the moment in the movie that breaks down a lot of people, that turn them to not like the movie. It's that one Martha line. And I think it's a little silly because, as you said, it's about post-traumatic stress. You know, you never know what's going to trigger people that have been through traumatic situations. And, you know, somebody that Batman's been trying to kill the whole movie, saying his mother's name, and Batman doesn't even believe it at first when you're watching the movie. He's like looking at Superman. He's like, why did you say that name? He's not even understanding why Superman's saying the name. And then Lois comes in and solidifies that, oh, yeah, I'm just killing this person that's not that different than me.
Do you think there's any merit to the criticism that maybe he should have said, that's my like, you're killing my mom or something like that?
No,
because to me it does seem unrealistic that Clark, who's so close to his mother, would refer to her as Martha. I mean, if they maybe established that somewhere in the film that he does that, it would may have worked better. But I have to say that bit was jarring, but I think it was worth. Like, I was willing to, you know, allow it, like, you know, because I think the moment was so powerful anyway. But yeah, I don't know if it could have been something like my mum instead, but that's my only thought towards that scene.
But yeah, I mean, I totally get the scene. I mean, it doesn't, and you know, it doesn't happen quick for Batman. He needs more than just Superman saying it, right? He needs Lois to come in and protect Superman and stuff like that. Like, it's a bunch of different factors, though. You know, like
Sorry, go on. Finish, please.
I was finished. What were you saying? No,
I was saying Lois could have come in and said Martha, the name Martha. Maybe that would have made it better. But all in all, I like the scene. So it's not something that bothered me a hell of a lot. But I see Shadow Vessel is here, and Ryan.
Shadow Film Triggers, Ryan C are here.
Ryan Coral says, as a person with PTSD, I can understand Bruce, and that is what made me a huge Batman fan. Being a fear to others and saving others. Yeah. So Superman's mythology is what we're watching happen. Batman's mythology is what's haunting him.
That's
yeah,
that is what Man of Steel and BVS are doing. They are building the Superman mythology as much as they can for those movies. Before we get to
But I was just saying that like I like that scene, like that quickly showed Batman's origin in that way, where he's rising in the with the bats, and I just feel like something similar. It would have been nice, just because we know it's Batman v Superman, to put them on an equal footing. You want to kind of maybe mythologize Superman in that kind of way as well. Like when Superman's got the cape, and like when he's small, when he's like a little child, when he's 14 years old, and he's just standing there with the kid with the cape flapping in the background. I was standing there as a kid, and the dog's there or whatever. That's in Man of Steel. I feel like that could have been taken out of Man of Steel and put in this film almost close to the
it's
Batman.
Interesting because it's interesting to look at these films by just themselves, right? Like you gotta watch the film and pretend like nothing else happened, right? But I mean, it's tough to do that because these characters are, iconic characters that have been around for like 80 years. So you can't really just go in with no preconceived notions of the characters. And I think that was the challenge of the movie, is that you got to try to tell an original story with everybody's already preconceived ideas of what the characters are. No one's just going to go in the movie with a blank canvas for you to do whatever you want.
And I think that's particularly a problem with Superman, because really there's been multiple successful interpretations of Batman, but to all intents and purposes, there's only been one undivisive interpretation of Superman, right? So that, I think, if there were more different interpretations of Superman down the years that were like really successful and well loved, that people would accept more, when someone's a bit more experimental with Superman.
Yeah. But that's the thing with Superman, though, isn't it? Like, he's been the flagship character of DC Comics for 80 years. He's been like this Boy Scout character for so long that when people see, them trying to take Superman into a real world and trying to, make him more human or whatnot, I think people get thrown off because they're expecting this ideal version of Superman all the time. I think that's the problem you run into sometimes. And I don't think there's a problem with that. I think Superman, in essence, is a little silly. You know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be the Mickey Mouse character of DC. Do you want me to
use the stream?
But he's supposed to be your iconic Boy Scout dude.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's right to make him dark. I don't think that fits his character. And even in BVS, he's not that dark. He's always, he seems more concerned that everybody thinks that he's a bad guy, right? I think that's the problem with. Yeah, go for it.
Sorry,
but I think that's the problem. Some people have with this Superman is that they're trying to make him less of the Boy Scout that you see all the time, right? But I kind of go back and forth on that because, like, should he just be the Boy Scout? Because, like, that is Superman. Like, why are we trying to make him this dark character? When he doesn't need to be.
I would say that I think that's the path of least resistance. That this film would have just been more appealing to more people if there was just a little bit, because also it was about the contrast between Batman and Superman, and I didn't feel that there was really enough contrast. There was a bit, it was definitely there, but I think there could have been more. I think you could have done with Batman had this great action-packed, one of the best scene in probably the film, which is the Batman saving Martha scene. And I feel like Superman needed something like that. He needed his version of that, like when he went to save that girl in Mexico. Maybe that could have been a bit more of an epic action scene to really showcase, what Superman does, right?
Yeah.
And then he comes out and the people are like worshiping him and stuff like that. But which is again another idea I really liked. I wish he was smiling a little bit more before he got, like before it kind of concerned him, that like all these people are worshiping him. It could have been nice if he like smiled and, showed that he's just like, I just wanted to help out, like whatever. And then, these people are reacting to him like a god and he's uncomfortable with that. I like the idea of him being uncomfortable there, but
but like, in some scenes, they're really trying to make it seem like it's a burden for Superman to be saving everybody. And does Superman feel that way? They're kind of like making it seem like that way. I don't know. There's a specific scene where a guy says maybe he's just a guy trying to do the right thing, and I like that a lot. I think that builds Superman's character a lot too.
See, you're right though, because that again is, I wanted to come to Superman last because this is what I wanted to talk about. It's that I get that when he's watching the TV things and he's reacting to people speaking about him, I get that he has some frustration and he should show frustration. He shouldn't be smiling there, you don't want him smiling all the time. But I feel when he's saving people, he still seems burdened by it, and that, or he's hovering like a god over the people who are, I don't know what the fuck was happening in that village, but there was a village that was flooded in a way that I've never seen before. But it seemed like an end of the world scenario or something.
Very ominous Superman.
Yeah, he's hovering over them rather than, swooping in and just like saving the people or doing what he needs to save them. So that's the kind of issues there that I have with Superman. But I want to, if you don't mind, because I think, I don't know, maybe it will be better for the viewers if we come to Superman last, because I do have a lot to say about that. But I do want to like talk about a lot of the things I like. So so the one of the really controversial things, and I want to know what your opinion of this is Lex Luthor, and there was a lot of negative backlash to the casting. What did you think when he first was cast? When Ben Affleck and Lex Luthor were first cast?
Ben Affleck was an easy yes. Like I was like totally on board for Ben Affleck. I'm like, yeah, he's a great actor. But Jesse Eisenberg, I kind of knew what they were going for. Social Network, the Mark Zuckerberg type of Lex Luthor. That's something we really haven't seen in the comic books that much, and it makes him a more contemporary take on the character and stuff like that. And I was willing to give it a chance. And when I saw it, I actually liked it a lot. I liked what Jesse Eisenberg was doing. I think the complaints that he's acting like Jim Carrey from Batman Forever, I think that's a little bit much. I don't think he's doing it to that extent. I'm saying like maybe he is hamming it up a bit because it is a comic book film. I don't know. Maybe that could be why he's hamming it up a bit. But I liked Lex Luthor a lot in the film,
So yeah, exactly. So I was really shocked, put it that way, when Ben Affleck and Jesse Eisenberg were cast. I was livid. I was beside myself. I think it was one of my first YouTube videos was when Ben Affleck was cast. I just thought it was the worst casting since George Clooney. And then they did the Jesse Eisenberg one, and I was just like, this is what's going on, And by the time I got to the film, and it was shocking to me, I was knives drawn because I didn't like Man of Steel, as you know. And I came into this film, and one of the first things that really got me, because I'd seen the trailers before, and I thought Jesse Eisenberg seemed really goofy in the trailers. And then I'm watching the film, and what I realized is this, he's putting on a really, really nuanced performance in this film. And you're right, he is supposed to be a completely detestable, hateable villain. And that's what you got. He was the type of villain, not like the Joker, where you kind of think he's cool, but he's the kind of villain you literally want to punch in the nose, right? He's this snotty little kid who's way smarter than you, which is annoying in itself.
Very birthright. Very birthright.
Yeah, very, very birthright. Exactly. And he's always, 20 steps ahead of, his opponents or the people that are, like the 20 steps ahead of the hero. And I just thought, this is people who are saying this isn't like Lex Luthor. I just don't understand what Lex Luthor they're referring to, and because he has all the core characteristics of him. He
hates Superman. Yeah, exactly how Lex Luthor's supposed to hate him. What were you saying?
I was going to say that one of the things now, if it was my choice, still, even though I really, really like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I don't see the problem with him. He is kind of in parts a little bit like, and I don't know how to put it. Like he's a little, he can be at times a bit cartoonish, but I know that's part of the persona he's putting on, and it makes sense to the character. But I think I might have gone a different direction in terms of the casting, just to like avoid some of the backlash. That's the only criticism I'll say about it, because apart from his performance, what I thought was really great about Lex Luthor was the dialogue, right? The actual dialogue, when you listen to actually what he's saying, and how when he's saying one thing, he means like he's saying something that has like three meanings almost. There's a scene, I don't know, I was going to ask you before we went live if you're willing to show videos during this.
Because it'll get taken down probably. If I...
Okay. But there's the helipad scene is one of my favorite scenes, in the movie, which is...
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Tell me why. What's your...
The helipad, just Lex Luthor's monologue alone is so good. It's so Lex Luthor. That's the thing I don't get about people that say he's not acting like Lex Luthor. Because in that moment, you could see exactly why he hates Superman, and it's spelled out really well. He doesn't like anyone being above him. That's Lex Luthor. You know what I'm saying? Like he hates this idea that. Like he could be the smartest man in the world, but he's completely insignificant when it comes to Superman. Like he hates that idea.
The problem of you above everything else.
It's so good. It's so
good. Which is a play on words, basically. And his pun game is really good, actually. But it's the play on words where he's literally talking about the problem and using the common phrase "you above everything else," but actually. Superman's hovering above him at that time, which is like really annoying to him. And by the end of it, he's got Superman kneeling before him. And now God kneels before me. And there's so many different lines in that, like I wanted to mention, where he's like, Mother of God, look at the time, right?
Yeah, it's so good.
And there's a so he says, Mother of God, look at the time, and he talks about what happens to the devil, the devil's mother, or something like that.
What happens to which you burn them or something like that, like, right? What was the line?
Right. I really wanted to see the scene I wanted to break the scene with you, because there's just so many references as well. He has such clever references to Lolita, like for instance, the book Lolita, where he's like plain old Lo in the morning, right? Like, and then he says to Lois Lane as well that the quickest way to Superman is a pretty little road called Lois Lane,
and he throws her off the building. That's great.
Yeah. So I think all of that was just fantastic. So go
on. Yeah, man. I mean, that whole triangle inequality thing, I thought was great, because it really showed like how Lex Luthor was always pushed to be the smartest kid ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? And he keeps like referencing his dad, And a lot of people, like even Shadow here, is saying that he's Lex Jr., but I don't see it that way. I feel like Lionel Luthor is his dad. Lionel Luthor is the dad. He really is Lex Luthor.
I would have preferred it. The one criticism I have, and it's not a bad criticism, it's not like I'm saying that the movie suffers from it, but I would have preferred that he was a self-made billionaire.
Lex Luthor? Yeah.
Yeah, in the movie, I would have preferred that it wasn't his dad or anything like that, to distinguish him from Bruce Wayne, and that he was like a self-made tech billionaire, like one of those snotty Facebook kids, right? And he just couldn't stand the idea that this guy, Kuchku 1992 says one of his most important lines: "The bittersweet pain among men is having knowledge with no power." And that is that, you know, when he talks about that, like it, and it's paradoxical.
Yeah, he's losing his shit. Yeah.
And basically saying it doesn't make sense to him that someone could have more power when he's the smartest man in the world. That this Superman that's presented to him is a paradox to him, because he should be the most powerful since has all the knowledge. If knowledge is power, right? Like he's the smartest man in the room. So, right.
Yeah. And what's he say about Superman? He says, God can't be all good and all powerful, and neither can you be. He has a very specific idea of what God is, because it goes into his dad abusing him as a child and stuff like that. And he's like, why wasn't God there to save me? And now Superman's here to save everybody. I just like how Lex Luthor's so bitter against Superman because he identifies Superman as God, you know, finally coming, like when he's like late, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's too late to save him, right? Which is another interesting kind of psychological aspect of him. Do you think he was abused? Like, I mean, like sexually abused by his dad? I don't get the abomination bit where he says nobody saves me from my fists and abominations.
I assume that means his dad was hitting him, like physically hitting him.
Okay. But yeah, definitely he plays that into this whole theological theme of his motivation, which is if God is all good, then if God is all good, then he can't be what?
All powerful.
All powerful. There we go. And if he's all powerful, he can't be all good.
Yeah.
So it's that thing of like the fact of God, if God exists, which he's saying like Clark isn't God. He's saying you're not God. I'm fucking, if anybody's God, maybe I'm God, but like you're not God, right? And he's saying if God exists, then that shit that happened to me as a kid could never have happened to me. It shouldn't have happened to me. So your very presence. And, you know, one of the things I think people have a problem with is they think that Lex being crazy goes against the character, that he's usually more rational and, you know, and I don't think so. I think even this is where I completely disagree. Like, I agree with lots of people on certain aspects of Superman not being quite what it is in the comics or quite what we've seen depicted. But Lex has always been unhinged. He's a narcissist. That's one of the things. He's very smart, but certain very, very intelligent people are really unhinged. I mean, he reminds me of someone like, you know, like say the Unabomber, right? Like Ted Kaczynski. Yeah. Incredibly brilliant man. But you know, he was so smart.
160 IQ. Crazy.
Right.
Smart.
Yeah, he was so crazy smart that he was almost, you know, one had like this almost autistic side to him where he couldn't understand other people's motivations. He couldn't understand other people's emotions. He could only see them as objects and things for him to kind of move around and manipulate. But also, like, above that, his intelligence, he was so brilliant and intelligent that it meant that he found it hard to communicate with common people. And that kind of drove him to his own insanity. And I think Lex Luthor isn't quite there. He's more socially capable than someone like Ted Kaczynski in this film, but he's got the similar kind of problem where he can't communicate at the pace at which his mind moves.
And that's what was that goes back to that dinner scene where he's doing the speech in front of everybody at the museum or whatever. That all goes back to that. It's hard for him to keep his mind focused because he's seeing his plan come together and stuff like that. He sees Wonder Woman, like he sees Batman and fucking Superman in the audience. And he's just he's getting lost in his thoughts and stuff.
Should we talk about the bucket of the thing of piss?
We will get to it. We will get to it.
Go on.
But yeah, Lex Luthor says that line, "Nobody saved me from fists and abominations." Then Superman does that when Doomsday throws a fist at him. So there was, a little metaphor going on there. I like that little detail too.
I never thought about that. Nobody saved it. And then he throws a punch at him and he saves him.
Yeah.
That is an interesting point. That's a very, very good point.
And it goes back to like Superman, is he all good and all powerful? It seems like that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I still think there's lots of things I missed in Lex Luthor because I'm not that smart. Because I think there's references upon references going on in his dialogue. There's a few things here and there because I studied literature. I know a bit about Euclid's geometry or something like that. I know enough that I can, recognize that. But I think there was a lot more going on there. Like, I don't know what that, when he's talking to the senator, who, by the way, I don't know who plays the senator again. What's her name?
I forget her name. Somebody say it. She was in Dallas, wasn't she?
Well, she was really underrated in the film, and I felt like one of the things that really bothered me with all the criticisms of the movie is that they wouldn't even admit, like they wouldn't even say, all right, well, we didn't like the movie, but like this performance, like so this person should be, applauded for their performance. Mm-hmm. But she was really good, and with Lex Luthor and the dynamic, Holly Hunter, exactly, fantastic from the piano. Mm-hmm. She was really good with her dynamic with Jesse Eisenberg as well. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to know what he was talking about when he said one comes by, like the red capes are coming, the red capes are coming. I didn't know what that was referencing. It was the American Revolution.
Yeah. With Paul Revere. Yeah.
Okay.
But
why did he say it in that moment? Why did he say it in that moment? Can you explain that to me? Do you know?
He's trying to paint Superman as a potential threat, right? And he's selling the kryptonite as the silver bullet to take out the monster if we need it, right? And Holly Hunter, like her character's really smart because she catches on to the fact that, it's just a weapon of assassination. You won't full fly. I mean, I'm not going to drink it. I love the whole Granny Peach tea thing. I
think the banter back and forth between them is fantastic. And then, you said something in one video that I didn't realize that was what was going on in the film, which is the Asian woman, what's her name?
Oh my God.
Not the actress, the character. Lex Luthor's
somebody shouted
martial arts secretary.
I know.
Nobody.
Mercy? Was it Mercy?
Mercy Graves. There we go. Sorry, I'm really tired. By the way, he sprung this on me, guys. Yeah. So please, I'm tired. I've been doing a lot today, so forgive me for being a bit like mentally scattered. But Mercy Graves, you pointed out that when she sees the kryptonite, that's when he decides to kill her.
Yeah,
and I never realized
that. Yeah.
That's weird. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
You may, I'm not going to say anything, but I thought he was absolutely diabolical, Lex Luthor, in this film. And I thought he was such a great villain with, all right, his plan was convoluted. It relied on a lot of film logic, but so was Joker's in The Dark Knight. Like, Joker was doing shit Like, how the fuck did he do that? You know what I mean? Like, there was so much shit that Joker did in The Dark Knight where you just have to either accept that Joker's so brilliant he can set this up, or you don't. And I think people just chose because they didn't like Jesse Eisenberg. If it was the same thing, the same plan, but they had have cast Bryan Cranston, everyone would have been going, "Oh, that was brilliant! What a clever!" You know, it's just because it was that actor and they didn't like that actor that they started tearing apart the plan. And when you tear apart the plan, it doesn't like all fit together. But the whole point is the way they presented it, like step by step, like how he was in this chess match with Batman, with Superman, with the Senator, and he always got ahead. I thought it was brilliant. And the Granny's peach tea, or the cup of pee, everyone's like, "Oh, why did he do that? That's disgusting." Well, because he's a villain.
Pretty diabolical. Yeah, diabolical. You know what I'm saying?
Because he's an asshole.
Yeah.
That's why he did it. Like, you know. So I never really got that. It's like, you want villains to be nice, or
right? Yeah, I totally love Holly Hunter's reaction to that too. Like, she looks terrified when she sees it. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she knows exactly what's going to happen, and she's trying to warn Superman with her eyes. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, she's looking at the wheelchair, and it's just they're just too late to stop it. It's just so fucking good, and I love the Ultimate Edition because you see her character figure it out right before she walks into the courtroom, right? Like, she's like putting it together. She's like, Lex Luthor set all this up. Like, this person is not a real witness. And then Lex Luthor pops into the frame and she like jumps back a little bit because she knows what's going on. And dude, Lex Luthor's so goddamn evil. It's like, save me, you're gonna be on the hot seat in there, Junebug.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that. That's because he says, you're gonna be in the hot seat, meaning you're gonna blow up, basically. Everything he says in that movie, I'm telling you guys, go through the movie and look at every single line just in case, because I bet you it has like a double or even triple meaning sometimes. And that's what I have to give absolute big time props. And it's one of the reasons I'm looking forward to Justice League is the fucking writer on this movie did an incredible job in terms of the dialogue. Some of the story beats I have maybe, I have a few problems with, but in terms of the dialogue, I think it's just a really great, like, it's a vast improvement on Man of Steel, for instance. Sorry, guys, I know.
Dude, but I won't argue with that, man. I feel like Terrio's writing is much better than David Goyer's. I just think on a base level, but still, like, Lex Luthor's dialogue is so good in this movie. And I feel like if you don't like Lex Luthor, you're not going to like the movie. If you don't like the Martha moment, you're not going to like the movie. I mean, if you don't like those two things, this movie falls apart for people. Like, but like, that's the heart of the movie, really, is Lex Luthor. Like, he's really like this driving force of the movie. If you're not getting behind like what they're doing with him, you're not going to like the movie. But what Chris Terrio did with the writing is incredible.
But I'm really interested in what you think about why. I mean, I get it in a way, but like, I'm confused about this analogy with him with the Joker. Like, why they think he's like the Joker or Riddler.
Because he's
of Jim Carrey?
Yeah, like there's an exact what, like, you remember the white coat Lex Luthor's wearing when he's taking apart the Zod or whatever.
Yeah,
there's a scene in Batman Forever at the beginning where Edward Nygma is in the same like white coat with the red hair, and he looks just like Lex Luthor. I see the visual thing is why people are making the comparison, because he looks a lot like that Edward Nygma. But they don't act the same at all. So
I don't think he. I'm not hating on Eisenberg, by the way, Jadov. I hope I hope that he was more human than me. Dialogue is still in Justice League. Why does he think that's hating on Eisenberg?
It's funny about Justice League. They haven't shown Lex Luthor at all in the trailers or anything, and we know he's in the movie. We know he's gonna have a few scenes in the movie.
They don't want to remind people of it. Yeah. I honestly think he's he's the best villain in the DCEU. To me,
Yeah,
he's the
I
best
think
villain
he's the
in the
most
DC.
fleshed out. Yeah, like you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah, his plan. People say his plan falls apart, but like I don't get that because
so okay,
everything
let's
makes sense as far as
mhm.
like as the movie as a whole goes. I feel like everything makes sense what he's doing. Even
Yeah,
even going down to blowing up the Capitol building, he's getting rid of all the witnesses that know anything about his plan, right? Like
right,
that's like
yeah.
that's a
That's
double
why
thing.
he was doing
Yeah,
it. It was a double. It was to make
yeah,
Superman look bad for not being able to save them, but also like to get rid of all the people who knew about what he was trying to do. So
yeah.
it did make
Even
complete sense.
Mercy Gray, even the person that loves him, like Mercy Graves is
That's
in
what I
love
loved
with
about
Lex
it.
Luthor.
He
Yeah,
killed Mercy Graves, which
yeah,
was wonderful. It was just
yeah,
like, what an evil bastard. He even
yeah.
sent his girlfriend, presumably his girlfriend, in there to just get killed. Can I ask, what do you think of him releasing Doomsday? Because that's another thing people seem to say. Oh, why did he release Doomsday if he doesn't?
Well, he
Because
thinks he's going to control it, right? He thinks he's going to control this thing.
I
That's
don't
why he
think he thinks
released
he's
it.
going to control it.
It's in the behind the
Is that what
scenes.
you think? Is
It's
that what
what it
you
is.
think?
It is what it is. It
No,
is
man,
what
I
it
don't
is.
think he thinks he's going to control it. I
He
think
says
he's
it.
such a
Yeah.
narcissist. He doesn't care if he destroys the whole world as long as he kills Superman.
That could be the case too. But there is an
That's what
exact
I think.
line that they wrote. There's an exact line that they wrote. You know what I'm saying? Where he
Where he
says,
says that,
yeah,
what, it's blood of my blood.
born, that only I can control, born to destroy you. It's in the behind the scenes. They cut the line out of the movie, which was interesting to me.
Oh, okay.
Um,
I always
but,
thought it was more because Lex Luthor would do that. Lex Luthor,
yeah,
I'm thinking back to, I don't know if you've ever seen Superman, Batman, Public Enemy. Have you ever seen that?
yeah, I've seen it.
Do you remember
But,
it? Because it's not that memorable.
yeah, I can't really remember much
You
from
can't
it. I just
remember
know
it.
Lex Luthor was president in it, right?
Lex
Yeah.
Luthor, basically, there's a meteorite made completely of kryptonite, which is heading for Earth, right?
Mhm.
And obviously, Superman is probably the only one who's strong enough to be able to stop the meteor of that size. Although you think, why wouldn't Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter give it a go? But anyway, like according to this, Superman is the only one who can do it. But it's made of kryptonite, so he can't. And Lex Luthor builds a missile system so that he can be savior. Like he's like basically framed Superman for some crime, and he wants to take all the credit for saving humanity.
Yeah.
With his missile, but his missiles fail. Right, and then there's this scene where he goes, he really thought these missiles were going to work, and there's this scene where he's going over the math of it, and he's just going insane, and then finally he comes up with this idea, like, let's just let the meteor hit, and he literally tries to stop Superman and Batman from saving the world because he won't accept Superman being the person who saves the world over him.
And I think that's why they cut out that specific line from the movie, where they're giving an explanation to why he's bringing up Doomsday. For what you're saying, like he doesn't really care; he just wants to see Superman die. And I think that's perfectly fine. That's perfectly fine motivation for Lex Luthor. That's all he wants to do in the comics is kill Superman.
It's like asking somebody who kills their wife and kids, right, and then shoots themselves. Why would they kill their wife and kids as well? It's because they're crazy. Because they're fucking nuts. They're like evil bastards. That's why he's doing that. So I thought all of that was pretty strong with Lex Luthor, but people just didn't get it. So should we move on to something like Wonder Woman, your impressions of her?
I mean, what little she was in the movie. I mean, it was a good introduction of her character. You know what I'm saying? Good introduction. I like it. You know what I like? I like when they show her and then they show like the, she's like running away from Bruce, and like Bruce keeps getting stopped by objects, and like one of the objects is like an Athens like building, that's a cake. I just like those little details. Yeah.
I didn't notice it. I didn't notice that.
So a bunch of Greek mythology. and she recognizes the sword isn't the actual sword of Alexander and stuff like
I
that.
thought
I thought that was a
such
great
good
detail.
dialogue. Yeah, like that little back and forth between her and Bruce. It almost reminded me of like Justice League, the animated series. Like that was like the little back and forth. And then she says that line, which I thought she was excellent. Like just in that little scene, I fell in love with her version of Wonder Woman. It was like, he's like, I bet you 9 out of 10 guys would fall for this babe in the woods routine, and she's like, and you're the 10th, right? Like, it's such a good like back and forth between them. So, and then there's the Trinity fight, which I thought was, I was almost in tears watching that Trinity fight for the first time. I never thought in my lifetime I would see this, and being a massive fan of these characters.
That Trinity fight, man. I even like the corny little line they use when he's like, I thought she was with you.
Yeah.
I thought she was with you. I like the corniness. It's comic booky. You know what I'm saying? You see that shit in comic books sometimes.
You like the line?
I
was gonna say that the line struck me as weird because I was like, well, Batman, don't you know she's with you? You've been talking to her.
She stole shit.
I was like, wait, is he saying when she's wearing the Wonder Woman costume, he doesn't recognize her?
No.
Because that seemed weird to me. I was like, that can't be what's going on. But
when he opens the Lex Luthor file, he sees all the metahumans, right? He's probably seeing a Superman file in there next to a Wonder Woman file, so that's probably why he's thinking that.
So he thinks that he must know her, like maybe she's
all
Kryptonian or something. But still, it's kind of weird. Like, I guess I mean,
it's so comic booky though. It's so like it's kind of that comic book silliness. You know what I'm saying? It's just what it is.
It is a little bit, but I think the other thing that I think the way the action scene was just done, and her like getting punched, and then smiling, and I love the way I compared it to the Civil War fight, where like the power grading and the power scales between all the characters in Civil War, just anybody could do anything against anybody, right? It was like Black Widow could take down Vision, right? Like she's somehow has the ability to take down Vision, whereas this was like Batman really couldn't do anything in this fight for the most part.
He had to hide.
He had to hide. But they still got him in the action and got him doing, like being a thing for
the smoke
for Doomsday for Doomsday to chase and stuff like that. It was like all very realistic who was doing what to Doomsday and how they worked as a team. I just thought, that was great, that scene.
Oh, what do you think about there's this complaint about the movie that they set up Justice League. Like that's a complaint in the movie that they set up they take about 5 minutes to set up.
Didn't bother me.
It didn't bother me either.
It wasn't 5 minutes either, I don't think, was it?
I think it was like
maybe 3:29.
Like, I'm seeing a scene right now of it. It says 3:29 next to it, so it might even be shorter than that.
It wasn't long. I don't know why people were so offended with it. People were like, "Oh my god, that's how you're gonna," It's like, so what? Like, it was only 3 minutes of the film anyway. So even if you didn't like it, it's like I don't get why you're taking such issue with this like 3 minutes of the film. So next character. So Wonder Woman, she wasn't in it that much, but I liked it.
But the fight, and seeing her fight was just epic and stuff like that. And cutting off Doomsday's hand, she kind of is the reason Superman died. Why'd you cut off his hand?
That's true. I never thought of that. But I just like the way when he punched her, like she went back and then she smiled, picked up her sword again, and just got up and she hadn't had a good fight for a while, like a good challenge for a while. That was kind of fun. Lois Lane. What was your take on Lois Lane in the movie?
Well, she definitely had a prominent role in the movie. That's for sure. I'm not the biggest Lois Lane fan, but she certainly has a big role in this universe here. You know what I'm saying? She certainly, uh, figures it all out and stuff. Excuse me. Uh, the whole bullet subplot with her, I thought was all right. I think it's a little weird that she was the only one that could figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's the only person that found a bullet there, but technically not, because the U.S. government already knew, kind of. And that's what Swanwick, the general, he's like, it's classified. I can't tell you anymore. I'll lose my job. So I think the government already kind of knew what was going on. But yeah, she exposes it with the bullet and stuff like that. And if you watch the Ultimate Edition, there's a scene where she's going through like her clothes after she comes back from the desert, and there's blood on one of them, and she has like this little like PTSD moment. Like she throws the shirt down and she like takes a drink. The kind of setting up post-traumatic stress of the movie, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's
in what moment?
When she's coming back and she's in her apartment.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. And then
she sees the blood on one of her shirts.
And then she remembers the bullet in the But I thought this was actually the version of Lois Lane that I wanted. She was really spunky and witty, like you expect of Lois, like always talking back. I like we should talk about probably matey who got shot in the face.
Who got shot in the face?
Jimmy Olsen.
Oh yeah.
But that's another controversial point of the movie. Maybe we'll talk about that during the Superman bit.
I don't think he's Jimmy Olsen. Can I say that? I don't think he's actually Jimmy Olsen, but whatever. I know Zack Snyder said he's Jimmy Olsen, but he's a CIA agent named Jimmy Olsen.
He's been a CIA agent in the comics before,
in Red Sun,
Elseworld.
like in Elseworld books.
In Elseworld books, which I thought was a good, that's an interesting way to take it. But I was going to say that Lois Lane, she seemed more like the Lois Lane that from the comics, like for once, or not for once, but for in this series of films. She did become more of a damsel in distress right at the end. But during the body of the movie, I like the fact that she was doing all this detective work, and that she was the one who figured out why she figured out that the guy didn't actually bomb the Senate, that it was that it clearly was somebody had set him up. And I just thought, just from the very beginning, her first pieces of dialogue, that she just seemed to me like that's what a grounded, realistic, real world Lois Lane would be like, without making it too, goofy, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, she is totally serviceable and stuff, and I really like the moment between her and Superman before he flies off to stab Doomsday and stuff like that. He's like, "You are my world." I mean, that hit me more than actually Superman dying. You know what I'm saying? Like, that relationship hit me more than actually seeing Superman die. And still, the whole Superman death was pretty epic. The whole the imagery and stuff of him lowering his body and all the heroes around him. Pretty awesome.
It looked like a Greek kind of painting when they kind of dragged him down. And all right, so we're burning through these characters pretty quickly.
We're gonna be wrapping up soon anyway, right? So Batman.
And where would you rank Ben Affleck amongst the Batman?
Amongst the Batman, Mr. Batman, he's good. He's good. He's good. I would say
Don't lie. I've heard
he's up there.
Number one. You think he's number one?
He's number one. No. I like Christian Bale a lot, even though people hate his voice. I like him a lot. Yeah. I think he captures Bruce Wayne pretty well. Ben Affleck, he captures the Batman side pretty well.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
And
Val Kilmer's very good too. I just watched Batman Forever. I love me some Val Kilmer. There's a specific scene where he's thinking of his parents' death. He's like, I killed them, and when he's supposed to be talking about Robin's parents, right? And Alfred goes, "Why'd you say that?" And they're like, he's stuck in like the past and stuff like that. I like that stuff a lot. But yeah, Ben Affleck, he's up there. He's up there. He's one or two. You know, he's one or two.
He's my third. I still like Keaton and Bale more than him, but I thought he shocked me. He really surprised me in this film. I really didn't think I'd like him at all, but I thought that there was a James Bond quality to his Bruce Wayne that I've never thought of before. You know, in the films they've always portrayed Bruce Wayne as this kind of eccentric loner. And you never really got that playboy side to him. And also just when he's out of the bat suit, he's kind of like a James Bond spy kind of, but more like a Daniel Craig James Bond than, like the early James Bond.
Yeah.
So I really like that element of how they brought that to the film. Yeah, he was just like greatest Batman action. My problem though, he killed. I don't think it went with the story.
Yes. There's a lot of people. A lot of people have that problem too, right? I kind of think
it didn't bother me as much as other people, but yeah, go on.
I kind of think they do explain it though with the whole Robin death and like it's a 1% chance Superman can enslave the world and kill everybody. So like at that point, it's Batman's in that mindset where people's lives are expendable at that point.
Yeah, but then he's a criminal who needs to go to jail.
Well, he's always been a criminal, Alfred. He's always been a criminal.
Yeah, but like, no, Superman should have taken him to jail after what he did to those people. Like, basically,
they were mercenaries,
the way I look.
Right?
Yeah, but were they really? Were they
were
really?
Shooting
they were. Wait a second. Wait, he drove with. No, he drove into them first. That was self-defense.
Oh,
so he drove into them first, and they were working for a legitimate company. Whatever you want to say about Lex Luthor,
they had illegal weapons.
No, on the face of things, he's a legal corporation, and they were simply transferring something from one place to the other. So I was like, why is he exactly coming out and killing them?
He's got to get that kryptonite. He's got to get that kryptonite. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the sole reason why he's chasing them, right? And Superman stops him, right? So Superman does stop him, right? He doesn't stop the other people that are taking the kryptonite back to Lex, right? Superman stops Batman.
Yeah, Superman stops Batman, but he should have arrested him right then. He's a killer. He should have taken him. He should have taken him to the cops. The guy could have easily killed a bunch of people.
He could have easily.
So that bothered me just because in the story it was like, why is Bruce Wayne? How can Bruce Wayne say like Superman's this dangerous guy when he's going around killing people and branding people? I just thought it was too much. It didn't bother me that much, but it bothered me a little bit where I was just like, if Batman was being more brutal than usual, I would have got that. And then by the end of it, he's redeemed when he realizes that he's turning into Joe Chill, when he's nearly going to kill Superman. And then, he goes and saves Martha without killing anyone or hurting anyone too badly. Still could have had a really cool fight scene, but I just would have, it could have done without the killing. I still think it was Batman. It was a version of Batman. And I don't see it as like that. It was so out of, the realm that it wasn't, he still had the core characteristics of Batman, basically. But the no kill thing in some Batman movies makes more sense. In this one, I don't think it made sense him not having that no kill rule. It would have heightened the drama if he had the no kill rule, and probably saved Zack Snyder a lot of criticism as well. Probably.
But you don't want a no-kill Batman. You got Batman and Robin to watch. That's a no-kill Batman you can watch, right? Batman Forever, he only kills Two-Face. There's only one death on him in that movie. You know what I'm saying? Like,
no, I don't look. I don't. What I'm saying is, if the story demands Batman killing, then fine. But if the story is this one where he's after justice against Superman because he sees Superman as a killer, then in this specific story, it would make even more sense that he would be like, he'd be on the edge, but he never kind of crosses that line.
It's interesting because he sees Superman as a tyrant threat that's gonna kill everybody on the planet. You know, like that's a pretty big scale,
existential, threat.
He's using the Bush administration policy, where like there's even a 1% chance that they could be our enemies or they could have nuclear weapons. We have to destroy them. That's a whole philosophy.
But all those people he's killing presumably have families, they have wives, they have kids. It's like I don't see how he can logically get out of they didn't shoot at him first. If they were shooting at him first and then he was just brutal, he went after them. That's my only problem with it. If they had have shown that those guys were vicious criminals before, that they killed everybody on the boat, like because they didn't want any trace to be found of how Lex Luthor got the kryptonite, then I could have seen like, okay, then Batman sees them do that and he's like, fuck these guys, I'm gonna kill them, but because in the absence of that, it just seemed a little too brutal for or they could have explained more why he'd taken this stance. Like, let's see Robin die then, let's see that actually happen in the film. That's my only, like, it's a small criticism, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Yes, because a lot of people have a problem with Batman killing and branding people. And it's interesting, the branding, because like Batman's almost taking like the stance where he's like he's tricking himself mentally, telling himself, oh, I'm not killing them, I'm just branding them. It's not my problem what happens to them in prison, That's kind of the stance Batman's taking right there. But yeah, Batman's he's a crazy person. Hasn't he always been a crazy person?
So Kevin says, legal corporation, they didn't have an import license for the kryptonite.
Import license.
That was contraband they were transporting, and KGB's men weren't doing legal things. Where were they murdering people?
Yeah, man. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
No, but where were they murdering people?
KG Beast?
KG Beast was murdering people, but
yeah, Batman, the whole Africa sequence, they murdered all those people.
Batman hadn't seen that in that scene.
Oh, he hadn't seen it?
Yeah, he wouldn't. I don't know if maybe he knew that, but like it didn't suggest in that scene that he knew that. And also, let's say they were doing something illegal, but like, come on, like trafficking contraband isn't worthy of executing them. Like of all the crimes, that's not really a crime that you'd think needs.
Well, how many people did he actually kill in that scene? He blows up the one car and drives through it. That's like
four people in that first car.
Four people
in that first car. The first car that he. The car which is so cool, by the way, where he hooks onto the car.
Oh yeah.
And then the car's dragging behind, and then he drops that on the other car. I thought that was awesome. But
nobody in that car.
There was four people in that. There was four people in the car that he dropped the people on.
Oh, but that car.
Dude, by the way, Kevin, I enjoy that Batmobile chase. Don't get me wrong. It's a minor kind of quibble I have with the movie. I don't think it's a perfect movie. I like it a lot, but I don't think it's perfect. And that I just thought I'd bring it up to see what you think.
And yeah, but he hasn't crushed that car. I mean, those people are still alive. He just
You think they're alive?
I feel, yeah, of course. The one that he drops the car, the other one, yeah, those people are alive. The car doesn't get crushed. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just immobilizes the car. But the one where he blows up the car and drives through it, those people are dead.
Yeah, okay. So,
but they were shooting at him with a Gatling gun. So, they get what they deserve, all right? They're shooting at Batman.
Look,
okay?
dude, it looked
Go
awesome.
Batman.
it looked awesome. Like the whole
and
Batmobile.
That's all. Honestly, that's all I want. Yeah.
That Batmobile was tight, bro. It like was slamming through fucking brick walls. I've never seen the Batmobile like that was a tank. Like it could go through anything, kind of thing.
Yeah, but I get it.
Total was around 25 or so, right? What does he mean? The total people who were killed?
Death count. Yeah, the death count.
That's a lot of people.
It's a lot of people. It's not as much as Michael Keaton. But that's always a dumb argument too. Like, it's not as much as the other Batman. It's like, yeah. But yeah, Batman shouldn't be killing in general. I get it. He is a comic book character after all.
Yeah, they murdered. He says, Kevin, they murdered people
in
the beginning of the movie in Africa. They murdered that fake witness. They were ordering hits in prisons on people. Yeah, but I'm saying, were we sure that Batman knew that? I mean, we could presume so because Batman is pretty clever, and he usually is, he's usually done some detective work on these guys, but I don't know specifically. The film tells you that he actually knew that. Is that what you think, that he knew all of that and that's why he was killing them?
I think he was just killing them because he wants the fucking kryptonite to kill Superman. I think that's the bigger goal right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, people's lives are expendable at that point, which shows you that he's not Batman. You know what I'm saying? He's not being Batman until the end of the movie, right? At least that's what I think. Like, he's going through a transformation. He's lost, the things that made him Batman from the beginning of the movie because of what Superman did and losing Robin and stuff. Yes, they could have expanded more on why he's not Batman anymore, or like why he lost his moral compass. I think they could have did that a little bit more, but I'm willing to buy into it, with what they did do. And it's fine with me, honestly.
And what about Superman then? Final bit.
I mean,
Superman.
I like how Superman is getting defeated by the world. I like that. I like how he's just like he starts out like coming home to Lois Lane in the tub, and they're having a good moment and stuff. And then he as the movie goes on, he just goes worse until he gets to the point where he's like, no one stays good in this world, which is like something you would never hear Superman say. Like, that's how much Lex Luthor has broken Superman right now, which goes to show how great Lex Luthor is.
I couldn't believe he said that he should kill Batman. I thought that was really out of character.
I might have to kill him. Yeah.
I might have to kill him, like Superman would ever even contemplate that. I just thought that was really bizarre. And unnecessary because he doesn't even try and kill him in the end. It's like you see when he gets there, he's clearly not trying to kill Superman. Batman.
I mean, there's that one moment where he's charging at him, like when they're in the bathroom, and he's just like, it's going on too long. He's running out of time to save his mom and stuff.
But I don't think he was ever committed to, because he could have killed him in 1 second, and that's my ultimate problem with the movie. One is that I don't think Superman even had enough lines to really flesh out his character. And it is a Batman v Superman film, and I think it relied too much on, we know him from Man of Steel, so we don't need to develop his character as much as we could do in this movie. And I don't think the Batman v Superman fight was the weakest action scene in the movie for me.
Yeah, a lot of people
like the Trinity fight, the Batman in the warehouse fight, all of that was really good. Even the Superman swooping in the beginning, and destroying the missiles. I thought all of that was really good, strong action. But I think Superman could have swatted him in 2 seconds.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it even says a line where it's like, if I wanted you dead already, it would have happened, or something like that, right? When they're on the rooftop. Of course.
And
yeah, I wish I wish we got a little bit more with that fight. But then again, I know it's the title of the movie, but they are two heroes fighting because they're being manipulated. It's not a good thing. I don't say I don't think you're supposed to want to see them fight. It's supposed to be uncomfortable.
I think Batman maybe could have come up with more of a better plan where he's more in the shadows. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger when he's fighting Predator, right? Like he's more in the shadows, and like Predator's obviously this super creature that if Arnold Schwarzenegger was just in front of him trying to fight him, it would be over in a second. So he knows like to hide and create traps, and but it's the fact that it's a one-on-one fight like that. I think that's what didn't work to make it more of an epic battle. Like that was more of a challenge for Superman.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm fine with it, honestly. I'm fine with it. It kind of serves its purpose. I feel like it just serves the purpose. It gets us to the point where we need to get to. And the Trinity fight with Doomsday, I think that's the main action of the movie. It's like 40 minutes of that.
Which was incredible. Great.
Yeah,
that was a really long. It was a full. Yeah, I really. Apart from the look of Doomsday, I think the look could have been more like comic accurate. But like apart from that, I thought every part of that fight was like exciting and thrilling. And definitely the warehouse fight was awesome. It was definitely awesome. But anyway,
wrap up. Final thoughts.
What I was going to say? What do you any questions here? Like anything we want to read out before we go? And then
no.
No? Okay. No. You seem as tired as I am, basically. Final thoughts. I would give the movie a good solid 8 out of 10. I really think that it's one of those comic book movies that I wouldn't say it's ahead of its time, but I think it was doing so much that was good. It worries me that people don't appreciate and look at it for all of those like really great things like it's doing, especially the stuff of trying to create this graphic novel and just put that graphic novel on screen, right? I think Marvel movies, for instance, much more do the opposite. They try and transfer the medium of comics and make a movie out of it. This was actually trying to almost like, grab the comic book and like just put it on screen for you there. Like the kind of graphic novels that you find, the really cool Elseworld ones that you find in the DC library. And so it was kind of a love letter to that. And I thought in that sense, I really have always enjoyed it every time I watch it.
Yeah. So and it really,
that's my final thoughts on it.
I would probably give the movie like a 9 out of 10. I really loved it a lot. It really acts like a highlight reel of like their best moments from the comics and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's another thing. It's like got so many visual homages.
Yeah, especially Alex Ross books and obviously all the Frank Miller books and stuff like that. Birthright. And I just really like Lex Luthor. I think that's like the breaking point of the movie. If you don't like Lex Luthor, you're not really gonna like the movie. Like he's a big part of that movie. But yeah, I like it. I like how it's a big setup for Justice League. You know what I'm saying? It's really
Justice League. We've got. Oh my God! It's only 2. Oh shit! Like we've got the whole day tomorrow.
Yeah, whole day tomorrow. Yeah,
I looked at the date. I was like 16th. What the fuck? Like, because I thought it was the 17th tomorrow, but no, it's the 16th. Like for the rest of the. I mean, the 17th after 12 p.m. tonight. But yeah, Justice League, man, it's going down. It's going down.
Finally
man.
gonna get it. Finally gonna get it. I know. Finally gonna see what happens after that dirt rises from the coffin. Finally gonna see what happens. Does Superman come back?
I'm trying to avoid the spoiler reviews a bit, but I've seen 1 or 2 spoiler
Don't
reviews.
watch them, dude. Now are you watching spoiler reviews? Are you out of your fucking mind? Do not watch spoiler reviews.
I'm not going to. I'm just saying.
Don't do it. You can watch the non-spoiler ones where people don't say anything. All right, but you cannot watch the spoiler reviews. We're too close. We're fucking too close.
It's too close. It's too close. I'm looking forward to it, man.
I know. I'm looking forward to it too. But that's it for now. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. This BVS discussion. We hit on a lot of things, but yeah. We'll see you all on Justice League. Hopefully we'll do another talk after we watch Justice League. We can form our thoughts on that, and we can get Shadow Vessel in here, maybe.
Let's get Shadow Vessel in next time, man. I want to.
We can get Proctor.
And let's make sure that we've. Because I swear I was just about to go to sleep, and I'm gonna. I need to take my caffeine pills next time, man. Sorry about that.
Yeah, man. Hit a couple Red Bulls. Yeah,
a couple of Red Bulls next time, man. But yeah, let's do that. And Shadow Vessel, let's get him in. But thanks, guys. It's Nerdman from Hot Takes Tuesdays. Right.
Yeah, check out his channel. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.